Yo, stop whatever you're doing right now. I'm dead serious. Pause everything, put the phone down, close the other tabs, because what I'm about to share with you in the next few minutes, it's going to completely rewire the way you hear women talk. Like not just today, forever. And I know you've probably heard people say stuff like that before. This will change your life. You won't believe this. And most of the time it's just clickbait, just noise. But this is different. And I need you to stay with me, because if you leave this video early, you are going to miss the one thing that explains every confusing interaction you've ever had with a woman. Every conversation where you walked away thinking, wait, was she into me? Or was that just friendly? Every moment where your gut told you something was there, but your brain couldn't figure out what. Here's what nobody is telling you. Women are not going to look you dead in the eyes and say, hey, I have feelings for you. That's not how attraction works in the real world. Instead, and pay attention here, instead, they drop signals. Quiet ones, subtle ones, hidden inside perfectly ordinary, everyday conversations. 3 specific words, 3 specific phrases that women use almost unconsciously when they are starting to develop genuine romantic feelings for a man. And here's the part that's going to mess with your head. These phrases, they don't sound romantic at all. They don't sound like flirting. They don't sound like a confession. They sound like nothing. Just normal conversation, which is exactly why over 90% of men hear them every single week and walk away with zero clue that a woman in their life was basically broadcasting her feelings on full volume. Bro, let that sink in. Right now, today, there might be a woman in your life who has said these exact words to you, and you smiled, nodded, moved on, and had absolutely no idea what she was actually communicating. That ends today, because by the time this video is over, you are going to have something I like to call the attraction advantage. The ability to decode what a woman is really feeling through the words she chooses. The ability to never again sit there wondering, does she like me, or am I just overthinking it? You're going to hear these 3 words and you're going to know. So I need you to do one thing right now. Just one thing. Stay with me until the end. Don't skip ahead, don't bounce, because every single part of this video builds on the last and the 3rd word. The 3rd one is the most powerful thing I'm going to say today. You ready? Let's go. What is good, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Emma, and this is Love Psychology Zone, the place where we don't do surface-level content. We go deep. We get real. We talk about the psychology behind human connection, attraction, mindset, and what it actually means to show up as a grounded, emotionally intelligent man in today's world. If you're new here, first of all, welcome. You found the right channel at the right time. And real quick, before we get into it, smash that subscribe button right now, because we drop content like this every single week, and I promise you the stuff we cover here is not something you're going to find just anywhere. This is real psychology, real insight, real talk. Okay, subscribed? Good. Now let's get into this, because I've been wanting to make this video for a while, and I've got a lot to cover. I want you to picture something with me real quick. You're having a conversation with a woman. Maybe it's a coworker. Maybe it's a girl from your friend group. Maybe it's someone you've been texting for a while. The conversation is flowing. It feels natural, easy, comfortable. And then right in the middle of it, she says something small, something that on the surface sounds totally ordinary. But something about it just hits different. You can't explain why. You can't put your finger on it. But for a split second, something in your gut goes, wait, was that? No. Maybe, I don't know. And then the moment passes. The conversation keeps going. And you spend the next 3 days low-key replaying that moment in your head, wondering if you imagined it. Sound familiar? Here's what I need you to understand. That gut feeling is not random. That instinct you felt, it was picking up on something real. Your brain just didn't have the vocabulary to identify it. Researchers and psychologists who have spent years studying real human communication, not theories, actual real conversations, have identified that women use 3 specific verbal patterns when they begin developing romantic feelings for someone. These patterns show up consistently across different ages, different cultures, different situations, and the reason most men miss them is simple. They don't sound like attraction. They sound like friendship, like casual conversation, like nothing important, but they are everything. And today I'm giving you the full breakdown, word by word, layer by layer, so that you never miss these signals again. Before I get into the 3 words, I need to say something real for a second. A lot of guys come to content like this because they've been hurt. They've had moments where they genuinely liked someone, really liked someone, and they either missed the signals entirely until it was too late, or they saw something, but second-guessed themselves so hard that they never acted on it, and then the opportunity was gone. And that feeling, that I should have said something feeling, that stings in a way that's hard to describe. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe you've been on the other side. You thought a girl was interested. You went for it. And turns out you misread the whole thing, and now it's awkward. Both of these situations come from the same root problem, not knowing how to read the signals. And I want to be clear, this isn't about manipulation. This isn't about tricks or games. This is about emotional awareness. This is about being the kind of man who understands human connection deeply enough to recognize when something real is forming and to honor that properly. That's what we're building today. Real emotional intelligence. The kind that changes not just your dating life, but every relationship you have. Okay, let's get into it. Word number 1. The first phrase is, you matter. Now I need you to really stop and think about those 2 words before I explain them. Because your first reaction is probably, okay, that's a nice thing to say. People say that all the time. Do they though? Think about your last week. Think about all the conversations you had. How many times did someone look at you, genuinely look at you and say you matter? Not as a motivational poster quote, not in a therapy session, but in a real, personal, one-on-one conversation. Not many times, right? Maybe never. Because here's the truth about those 2 words. They are not casual. They are not throwaway. They require a level of emotional intentionality that people don't just pull out for anyone. When those words come out of someone's mouth, it means something has been felt deeply enough that it needed to be said out loud. So when a woman says you matter to you, what is she actually communicating? She is telling you that your presence in her life has created an impact she can no longer ignore. Not your looks, not what you do for a living, not any surface-level thing, but you, your energy, your consistency, the way you show up, the way you make her feel when you're around, has registered in her in a way that she felt compelled to acknowledge it. Let me break this down even deeper because I think this is important. We live in a world right now where everyone is distracted. Everyone is half present. You're in a conversation with someone and they're checking their phone. You're sharing something that matters to you and the other person is already thinking about what they're going to say next. That is the normal human experience in 2024. So when a woman finds a man who actually listens, not just hears, but listens, who remembers the small things she mentioned 3 weeks ago, who asks follow-up questions, who is genuinely present when he's with her, that stands out in an almost jarring way, because it's rare. And when she has experienced that with you enough times, when she has felt that you are someone who actually sees her, not just the version of herself she presents to the world, but the real her underneath, that's when those words come out. You matter. She's not just being nice, she is acknowledging that you have crossed a line in her internal world. You've moved from guy I know to person who is genuinely significant in my life. And that shift, that does not happen easily. That is earned through patience, through showing up, through being real with her when it would have been easier to just say what she wanted to hear. Here's what I also want you to understand about this phrase. It's not just about attraction in the romantic sense. When she says you matter, she is recognizing your value as a human being, the depth of your character, the quality of your presence. She's saying, I see who you actually are, and who you actually are matters to me. That is the beginning of something real. That is the kind of connection that doesn't just spark and fade. That's the kind that builds. So next time you hear those words, and you will hear them now that you know what to listen for, don't just say thanks and change the subject. Let it land, receive it. Because she meant it far more than she let on. Yo, real quick time out. If this video is already hitting different for you, I need you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button, because this is exactly the kind of content we bring every single week. Real psychology, real insight, real talk about what's actually going on beneath the surface of human connection. You don't want to miss what's coming. Okay, back into it. Word number 2. All right, number 2. And I'm telling you right now, once I explain this one, you are going to start hearing it everywhere and you are going to understand exactly what it means every single time. The word is we. Just 2 letters. The most common word in the English language when it comes to relationships, and also the most consistently overlooked signal of developing feelings that exists. Here's what I mean. Pay attention next time you're having a casual conversation with someone you're not particularly close to. Notice how they talk. It's all I language. I want to check out that new restaurant. I'm thinking about going to that concert. I'm probably going to take a trip next month. Everything is solo. Everything is individual. Because that's the default way humans talk when they're not deeply emotionally invested in another person. Now notice what happens when someone starts developing real feelings. The language shifts, almost without them realizing it. Suddenly it's not I anymore, it's we should check that place out. We'd have so much fun at that concert. We should plan a trip sometime. That shift from I to we is not just grammar. That is her subconscious mind revealing that she has started including you in her internal vision of her future. Let me say that again because it's important. She has started including you in her vision of her future. And here's why that's such a big deal. Women do not do that casually. Not real women who are grounded and self-aware. They don't just randomly start talking in we language with every guy they meet. That only happens when someone has moved past the surface in her mind. When she's gone from, I enjoy talking to him, to, I can actually see him in my life. Think about what it takes to get to that point. She has to feel comfortable with you. She has to trust you. She has to have experienced enough consistency from you that her brain feels safe enough to project forward. All of that has to be in place before that little two-letter word starts showing up naturally in her speech. Now here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't always about big future plans. People hear this and they think, oh, so she has to say we should get married someday for it to count. No, not at all. In fact, the most powerful version of this signal shows up in the smallest, most ordinary moments. We should watch that show. We'd be good at that. We've got this. I feel like we just get each other. These small, seemingly throwaway phrases are actually massive, because the big future talk, the where do you see yourself in 5 years conversation, that can be forced, that can be performed. But the little everyday we slipping out naturally in casual conversation, that's real. That's her subconscious talking before her conscious mind has a chance to filter it. There's also another layer to this that I don't want you to miss. When she uses we language, she's not just including you in her plans. She is valuing your input. She's signaling that your thoughts, your opinions, your preferences, they matter to her when she's making decisions. She's not just doing her own thing and inviting you along as an afterthought. She's building something and she wants you to be part of the foundation. That is a form of respect that goes beyond casual attraction. That is a woman who sees you as an equal, as a partner, as someone whose presence enhances her life rather than just entertaining it temporarily. So here's what I want you to do. Starting today, pay attention to the pronouns women use when they talk to you. Is it all I, or is we starting to show up? Because that one little word is doing a lot of work beneath the surface. And when you start hearing it, take it seriously, because she already is. All right, before we get into the third word, and trust me, this one is the deepest one, I want to shout out everyone who's been in the comments engaging with these videos. You guys are incredible. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now. Hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time we drop. Okay, word number 3. This is the one. The third word, and I need you to really be present for this one, because this isn't the flashiest word on this list. It's not the most obviously romantic, but I genuinely believe, after everything I've studied and everything I've seen, that this single word is the most powerful emotional signal a woman can give a man. The word is safe, specifically when she says, I feel safe with you. Now I know your first reaction might be, that's it? That sounds like something you'd say to a therapist. And I understand that. Because on the surface, it doesn't sound like attraction. It doesn't sound exciting. It doesn't have the energy of a flirt or the electricity of a compliment. But here's what I need you to understand. What I need you to really internalize before you dismiss this. Safety is the foundation of every single real, lasting, meaningful connection that has ever existed between two human beings. Attraction fades, physical chemistry shifts, excitement has a shelf life, but emotional safety, that is what makes love last. That is the thing that separates a 2-month situationship from a relationship that actually means something. And when a woman tells you that she feels safe with you, she is not just giving you a compliment. She is handing you the most vulnerable, most honest, most significant thing she can give another person. Let me explain what I mean by that. We are all walking around in this world with armor on. Every single one of us. We have past experiences that taught us to be careful. Past relationships that showed us what happens when we let our guard down with the wrong person. Silent fears and insecurities that we keep locked away because the world doesn't feel safe enough to show them. Women especially, they navigate life with their guard up in a way that most men don't fully appreciate. They have been burned. They have been judged. They have been around men who made them feel like they needed to be a performance, always put together, always impressive, always a little bit guarded, because the moment they showed their real self, it was used against them somehow. So for a woman to look at you specifically, and say the words, "I feel safe with you," that means you have done something extraordinary. You have somehow, through your consistency and your presence and your character, created a space where she no longer feels the need to perform. She can just be around you, her actual self. The weird humor, the deep fears, the ambitious dreams, the parts of her past she's not proud of, the emotions she usually keeps hidden, all of it, she feels like she can bring that to you and it won't be used against her. It won't be judged. It won't push you away. Do you understand how rare that is? In a world full of people who are distracted and inconsistent and half-present, the man who makes a woman feel genuinely emotionally safe is not common. He is exceptional. And here's something I want to make very clear, because I think this gets misunderstood a lot. Feeling safe does not mean you're the boring, passive, always agreeable guy. That is not what this means. A lot of men hear "she feels safe with me" and they think it means they're in the friend zone or they're too nice or too predictable. That is completely backwards. Emotional safety comes from strength, from groundedness, from being a man who knows who he is, who doesn't need to perform or posture, who can have difficult conversations without turning them into drama, who can receive her emotions without getting overwhelmed or dismissive, who is stable, not perfectly stable, but consistently, genuinely, emotionally grounded. She doesn't feel safe with you because you're boring. She feels safe with you because you are solid, because when the world around her gets chaotic, she knows that you will not add to the chaos. You will be the calm in it, the anchor, the one person who isn't going to fall apart or disappear or turn cold when things get hard. That is deeply, profoundly, powerfully attractive to a woman who has any kind of self-awareness at all. And here's the ultimate truth about this word. Attraction might be what sparks her interest in you. Physical chemistry might be what gets the conversation started. But safety? Safety is what makes her fall. Real, genuine, terrifying, wonderful, emotional falling. Because you cannot truly fall for someone you don't feel safe with. You can be obsessed with them. You can be addicted to the highs and lows. But you cannot build real love without this foundation. So when she says those words, "I feel safe with you," understand what is actually being communicated beneath the surface. She is saying, "You are my peace in a world full of noise. You are the person I can breathe around. You are not just someone I'm attracted to. You are someone I am beginning to trust with the real me. I choose you as my peace." If that's not love forming, tell me what is.
Okay, let's take a breath and zoom out for a second. We've just covered 3 words. You matter. We. Safe. And I want to talk about what these 3 words have in common, because I think this is the part that most videos like this miss entirely. None of these phrases are dramatic. None of them are obvious. None of them show up in Hollywood movies as the big romantic moment. There's no slow music. No grand gesture. No, "I can't stop thinking about you" declaration. They're quiet. They're subtle. They show up in the middle of ordinary conversations when she's relaxed and her guard is down and her real feelings are leaking through without her even fully realizing it. And that's the whole point. Real attraction, genuine, deep, lasting attraction, doesn't announce itself loudly. It whispers. It shows up in the words someone chooses when they're not thinking about performing or impressing. It shows up in the small shifts in language that reveal what's happening underneath the surface. You matter means she sees your value beyond the surface. We means she's already imagining a future that includes you. Safe means she trusts you with the version of herself she doesn't show everyone. Together, those 3 things paint a picture of a woman who is developing real, genuine feelings. Not a crush, not a passing interest. Real feelings. The kind that build into something that actually lasts. And here's what I want you to take away from this. More than anything else I've said today, emotional intelligence is the most attractive quality a man can develop. Not just for dating, for everything, for friendships, for leadership, for how you show up in every relationship in your life. The ability to actually hear what people are communicating beneath the words they're saying, that is a superpower that most people never develop. And every time you invest in developing that awareness, every time you choose to go deeper rather than stay on the surface, you become more of the kind of man that people want to be around, that women feel safe with, that relationships are built on. That's what we're doing here. Every single video, going deeper, getting sharper, building the kind of emotional foundation that most men never take the time to build. And that right there is what this channel is about. If today's video gave you a new lens, if it gave you even one moment of genuine insight, I'm asking you to do 3 things. Number 1, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps more people find this message. Number 2, subscribe if you haven't already. We go this deep every single week. Mindset, emotional intelligence, attraction, human connection, real talk, always. Number 3, drop a comment below. Have you ever heard one of these 3 words from a woman and completely missed what she was communicating? Or maybe in hindsight you realize now what it meant. Tell me your story. I read every single comment and I respond as much as I possibly can. Before I let you go, I want to say something that I think is actually the most important thing in this entire video. The reason most men miss these signals isn't because they're not smart enough. It's not because they're not paying attention. It's because nobody ever taught them to listen at this level. Nobody ever said, hey, the most important things people communicate are usually hidden in the ordinary things they say. We were all taught to look for the big obvious signs, the dramatic moments, the clear confessions. And in doing that, we walk right past the quiet, real, genuine signals that are happening all around us every single day. You now know what to listen for. Use that wisely. Not to play games, not to manipulate, but to show up with more awareness, more empathy, and more emotional depth in every interaction you have. Because that is what actually builds something real. Stay grounded, stay sharp, stay present. I'll see you in the next one. Call me Hand.